Today is Thursday, March 1st, 2012. My name is Stephen Beecham.
I am Brian Song.
And I am Molly Wood. Welcome to Buzz Out Loud, CNET's podcast of indeterminate length. It is episode 1583.
Boom!
And we are super excited because we have some daredevil guests at the top of the show today.
Yeah, if you guys were paying attention to CES, there was a lot of buzz around this company called Chaotic Moon who were showcasing their board of awesomeness. So we decided not only are they going to talk about more of the awesome things they're working on, recently a video kind of leaked out there showcasing this Kinect-enabled shopping cart and the brains, the geniuses, the crazy minds behind this at Chaotic Moon. We have our buddies Whurley and Phil. Whurley, before we start the show, is this do you have a last name? Is this like a Prince thing going on? Are you that big already?
I like how your tone is like, is there something you want to tell us, Whurley?
I don't know. I don't know why Brian got all sexy when he started talking like that.
I didn't get sexy on you, but some people interpret my voice that way. Slow down. Okay.
So I didn't create it. I come out of the open source community, and it's kind of a handle. It made out of my name, like a Unix username, which is William Whurley, and then it was Whurley, like crazy mad scientist guy, and then it was like, whoa, that's his first initial last name. And years ago, I just gave up on using anything else because it kind of doesn't matter anymore anyway.
So Whurley's business card, appropriately enough, actually says Whurley, evil genius. But I think it could probably safely say like evil genius plus daredevil.
Evil Genie.
Based on at least some of the videos that we've seen coming out of Chaotic Moon. Tell us a little bit, for those who don't know what in the good God's name we're talking about, what it is you guys do at Chaotic Moon.
So Chaotic Moon is a pervasive computing company. We focus mainly on mobile. So we did a bunch of big name apps. We did The Daily for Jobs and Murdoch. We did Sesame Street, The Monster at This End of This Book. And we have a new games division we launched last year, which is converting Xbox titles to iPads and Android tablets and stuff like that. But at the very end of last year, Phil Wheat came on board as our labs manager, and Phil and I started a new division, which is the labs. And the idea behind that is to kind of go out and do all the things people say can't be done, or when you're wondering like where your future is, the goal is to have this business unit kind of start delivering it and start showing how fast you can innovate and the types of things you can innovate, on kind of shorter time frames, shorter budgets, and bigger results.
Now, Phil.
Yeah, Phil's on too. Wave, Phil.
Phil,
Hi,
we want to talk to you, Phil, because you're a big part of this puzzle too now. Phil, one of the CES really launched you guys at least into the spotlight where people started trying to figure out who you guys are. What is Chaotic Moon? Oh my gosh, this board of awesomeness is amazing. The Kinect obviously plays a big part in that first project. Was that, when you came on board, was that one of the first things you were trying to push, or was it the integration with the Kinect, or how we can use these APIs to really, elevate the status of what this device can do?
Really, we just wanted to see what we could do, how far we could push it. Basically, the Kinect is a sensor package, and we wanted to see what environment we could work with, what the software and the hardware together could do, and just to be honest, to have a little fun with it as well.
A little. So I don't know, I hope everybody watching this has seen the YouTube videos or some of the videos that we did, but literally we're talking about, just at minimum, the first thing we saw out of Chaotic Moons was a Microsoft Kinect-controlled skateboard, which has a top speed of 32 miles an hour. I rode it for like a grand total of 11 seconds before our executive producer Bonnie saw me and told me to get the hell off.
Yeah, we both got around 10, 15 feet on that thing before they say, shut it down.
Yeah, get off. You're not insured for that kind of thing. But so since then, now there is a story that came out this week about the latest thing that you're working on, which is the stalking shopping cart, as some people have described it.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not necessarily.
It chases you.
There actually was something in between there that surprisingly some people missed, but we made a second board, which is the board of imagination, which is controlled only by the power of your mind. So that's something we'll get to later.
You're playing with me.
No, it's on our YouTube channel.
I saw it on YouTube. Yep. It blew my mind, if you will.
Oh, come on now.
It's pretty cool.
Here's the headset right here.
But back to the shopping cart that you discussed. Yep, that's it.
Okay, you know what? Let's skip ahead to that.
Yeah.
The shopping cart is cool, but we have to talk about mind control. I mean, really, let's not bury the lead here.
So it's just the thing is everybody said, well, what could you do after that with the skateboard? And so we were joking about shortening the time between the rider's thoughts and what they were thinking, wanting to do, and all of these different control interfaces. And what we came up with is we should use an emotive headset and actually convert brainwaves into instructions for the. And so the guys at Emotive, guys and gals over there, sent us a headset, and Phil and I sat down with it and played around. And then I spent like 48 hours like mapping my brainwaves and figuring things out. And I thought I was special because I thought, well, only my brain will trigger it. And what we found out is Phil and the team did an amazing job on the software because we were actually out at Venice Beach just yesterday. And we were filming day before and yesterday. And random people were able to just hop on it, put the headset on, think, kind of imagine where they want to go, and then have the board take them there.
So when you say that, imagine where they want to go, is it a matter of the brainwaves stimulating the device and saying go, or you're saying go right, go left?
It's a matter of, well, for safety with all these people, we don't get them right or left. We just give them the speed to try it out. But what it's a matter of is you literally pick out a point in the distance and you kind of imagine yourself traveling to that point, and the brainwaves are basically converted into instructions, and then there's a fidget on the board that converts that to electrical signal for the electric motor.
Hey,
That's awesome. That's all.
Totally
We're just like,
yes,
whoa.
please.
Hey, real quick, Whurley, can I get you guys to come out here so I can just control the show with my brainwaves? I can just sit here and think. And take camera 2. Take camera 3.
Actually, you know what? We should totally do that. You guys should have us out. We'll bring a couple sets, and you should have us out. We should find a way to have you control some of the basic parts of the show with that. I think
That'd be outstanding. I think we just need to reconfigure our entire studio for mind control, obviously. Also, I'm going to need an implant.
Okay, go for it. So, Whurley and Phil, we want to talk about, obviously, the whole grocery store concept. You guys did give us little whisper that, to me at CS, but we kept our side of the bargain and didn't say anything.
That's true. We've been sitting on this secret for a long time.
And you know what? We kept our side of the bargain and didn't say anything either. Unfortunately,
You're right. You said yeah.
I mean, in fact, when the demo was given, neither of us were really even in the room. So we were as surprised to see the video as anybody. But it is out there now, and so we want to talk to you guys about it first. It's very interesting. We have a lot of different projects in the labs on kind of new technologies and new interfaces. And one of those projects is this project that Phil and I have been working on around the shopping cart. And the idea is to figure out everything from helping people with disabilities to making the things smarter, to making checkout easier. We just had a whole list of things we wanted to do. And Whole Foods was kind enough to give us a shopping cart. Now, the one you see in the video is not the shopping cart that we designed around. We actually designed around the little more square double-decker shopping cart. Mm-hmm. So, there was a tracking problem in the video. Part of that is because when Phil and I arrived on site, the Whole Foods in Redmond doesn't have those carts. They have the green cart you see in the video, and then they have a really super, very large cart. And so, things weren't quite as perfect, but it works really well with the cart it was designed for. And basically, the idea is to kind of prove out some things and test them out. And we needed a store to test them in. You can't just do things in a vacuum. You can't just do them in the labs. And so we got in contact with Whole Foods. They're another Austin company. They're flagship stores here. And obviously, we're big customers of theirs on a personal level. And we asked them, and they were nice enough to give us a shopping cart and give us permission to come in the store, multiple times and kind of test it out. They gave us a nice little aisle in the pasta aisle. And that worked out really well because, we got in the store and we discovered, there's a lot of extra ambient noise and there's different, some aisles have speakers right above them and some aisles don't. And, there's a lot of good data we gathered from there. And we also got to see people's reactions, which was amazing, which is people, I think, are ready for this kind of thing. Some people had concerns about privacy. Well, we had already, in our work, eliminated those. Whole Foods does not have a loyalty program. They do not have, frequent shopper type things. And what we designed was a key fob where you could program, your shopping list and things like that, or do it on your phone, and you control the data. And you can share the data with the shopping cart, but the shopping cart doesn't share the data with anyone. So it's just you're in control of your data and at all times. Another concern was will they hit each other or whatever? And I think we've got that worked out as well. The important thing to note is how many times have you been in the grocery store aisle and somebody comes down the middle of the aisle or parks the cart this way? So Phil and I, just for personal satisfaction, have programmed it to where the cart always knows it should be on this side of the aisle or on this side of the aisle.
Oh.
So it's on the right. It's on the right side.
It's more polite than the humans. So, but let's talk about some of those other features that you've kind of alluded to. That you have a list that you can communicate with the cart. So it's not just about the cart sort of following you. It's not just hands-free operation and politeness. What is that? What else can you accomplish by sharing your shopping list with the cart?
Well, Phil, you want to tell them something about the features?
Sure. Basically, a lot of this is coming from some of the work we've done with some other companies, with being aware, gluten-free awareness, with allergies and things like that. So one of the first things we looked at was making sure that the cart itself, when it comes up and identifies what the product is, it also has access to all that fine print that everybody looks at and tries to read and misses stuff. So if you indicate that you have a preference for gluten-free, which is part of the scenario that you see in the video, it will notify you if the item actually has gluten in it, and if it does and you don't want that, it will actually suggest different options for you. So instead of, one of the problems with people with special dietary needs or concerns is a lot of times they feel like they've been kind of put back into this small section of the store. This lets them go anywhere in the store, find exactly what they want, and if they can't see what they want, they can actually scan something similar to it and have the cart itself make suggestions and help them find what they need.
Yeah, I think that's really important to note. On the gluten-free diet, there's a lot of things in the store that don't have gluten in them, but people seem to, when they start that diet, they tend to think they have to be in this one section of the store, and they don't realize there's a whole store full of items that, available to them. So that was kind of really nice to talk to some people that had those dietary concerns and work with them on that. It kind of opened their world up some.
You know what's funny, guys? You guys talk about this as a matter of fact, and after you guys have dropped some of the info of what this thing is capable of, we literally, our studio is like, oh my gosh. And then you guys keep on talking. We're blown away.
Funny,
we're blown away.
We're watching our chat room just be like, what? And you guys have been playing with it for months. You're totally over it. So what are the
Well, actually we haven't. We're coming up on a month. I mean, that was the thing.
Oh, really?
This yeah. So if you watch the there was a couple different people that have talked about it. The development is we're on 3 weeks now, something like that. So that's what I'm saying that's what we're trying to do at Labs is these things that you see in the movies, these things that you see on TV, these great fanciful ideas, they're held back by, companies don't want to advance their product that fast because they have to have a product life cycle or people think it's ridiculously expensive, and none of that is true. I mean, we live in this amazing age right now where you can do anything that you want with the technology, and there's so many options and things available. And what we're trying to do in the labs is show how fast you can take something from a concept, kind of from an idea to a concept, from a concept to execution. So a lot of people say, it's like, research and development, they say big R, little d, or, little r, big D. and we think it's actually R, D, and E. And so we're kind of like medium-size R&D, big E, because we're about actually delivering these things into the real world.
So what are you thinking in terms of practical applications for Board of Awesomeness? Not the board itself, but for, obviously that kind of mind control interface.
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, before we get to the mind control interface, the Kinect interface, we always talk about how we do perceptive, pervasive, and predictive computing. We do a why and a wow. And as we kind of hinted to you guys at CES, the Board of Awesomeness is the why. Why would you build that? And the shopping cart is the wow. And the reason is that the technology platform on the two are identical with the exception of the motor systems. So it's the same Samsung tablet running Windows 8. It's the same Kinect. It's the same software and algorithms we wrote. It's just kind of inverted.
I've got to say, I would actually like a shopping cart that goes 32 miles per hour in a store. So if there's some way you guys can work on that. No, one of the amazing things also is it mentioned in the demo of the shopping cart how it can refer to a section in the grocery store if you needed additional items. Is this mapped? How does is it mapped out for you, or they're just pulling data like there's the list of the items that are in aisle 5 and the Kinect and the system knows that and it suggests that, or is there actually a physical map that that the Kinect, because it's a camera, can detect and map out itself?
So since we've been working with grocery stores for a total of 3 weeks, obviously we're experts. but in that short time, what we've learned is that all of these stores are different. And there's different systems and different things. And so what we needed was to test the environmental variables, the sound, the motion, people walking, what do people think, all of these things. And Whole Foods was nice enough to let us do that, and we're very thankful for that opportunity. But what we also did is we went and started researching grocers in general and stores in general. And so there are some in-cart navigation systems and mapping systems companies that are out there. So we've been talking to them, seeing what kind of data feeds they provide, seeing how they do it. We've also been working on our own, which is, how would you do this? One of the things people don't realize is how often things move around in a store. Whether it's Whole Foods or whether it's a Target, things are moved on different end caps and different aisles, and so you have to have a system that tracks it. And as we know, RFID, which was going to be kind of the holy grail of this stuff, never really took off because of the cost and other factors. So there's a bunch of different things. People using ultra wideband in stores. People using different things. You've seen those pricing labels that automatically update. They're from a company in Switzerland. They're really cool. So the pricing can all be digitized. These are things that these kind of stores are just now getting into. So, how we map the store is we have to build a map for the store for our test. That's just the way it works. Again, 3 weeks break. but we've been looking.
I was just curious, Whurley. I wasn't criticizing.
I don't know. You said you didn't use your sexy voice. When you don't do that,
yeah, it's hard to tell.
I think
So Whurley. Tell me a little bit more.
I bet you could do mesh mapping if all the carts talk to each other and then they can map as they go.
It's funny that that's something is you can use, as you know, the Kinect to do some mapping and scanning different type functions, right?
Yeah.
And so that is one of the solutions that Phil and his team came up with. Is that potentially you could have the cart, you could run it through the store, have it follow you through the store, and kind of have it build a map. Now the thing that doesn't do is that gives you a map of the store that doesn't necessarily tell you where all the items are,
right.
and those items are going to move. So these problems are this kind of technology demonstration we've done is kind of scratching the surface of this, but there are some amazing benefits, which is you could take all of the SKUs, put them into a database, make it available to the brains of the cart, and you could do the things like the dietary need and everything, or even transfer that onto a smartphone without even having to have an automated cart. So really there's about 20 things in here from a technology perspective that are really interesting, and there's probably half of those that you could implement in a very short-term future in some way or form.
So now then, for the record, you're not going to tell me what the what you're going to do with the brainwave controlled technology? Because don't think I didn't notice that clever dodge.
No, it's not Dutch. We have huge plans for the brainwave technology. We have some pretty astounding things have come up with our playing around with it. Obviously, driving the skateboard with it is a blast, and everybody that's ridden it is like the funnest thing in the world, because you watch somebody who has never been on one and they put on the emotive headset, and then they think about it, and the first time they do, they always fall off because they're laughing and they get distracted because they're like, oh my god, it works.
Hey, Molly's laughing in that video right there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're showing the video of you doing the Kinect one.
Her riding the Kinect. So we have a lot of applications.
There's
we're
Phil.
looking into applications that are, mainly right now for our social innovation program in the space of what can we do with disabled people or people with disabilities. So we, have grown as a company tremendously fast. We've been unbelievably successful, and obviously we want to give back. So, we've done a few things already. We sponsored a movie shot in Nepal to help with the make awareness of the trafficking of young girls out in Nepal and the brothels in India. We did a charity water race where we had 2 Chaotic Moon rickshaws or tuk-tuks all decked out with some tech equipment and branding, and we raced those 2,020 miles, I believe, or down India. That's on our website in the lab section, and we're doing more things. And now we're finally at a point where we're like, okay, we're going to start releasing some of the technology things we have. So we can't tell you. I would love to talk to you guys about it first, but we have something we're doing with the emotive headset that is going to be. I mean, it's like a TED-like. It's gonna make the shopping cart look like, oh, my 15-year-old built the shopping.
You guys,
I love it.
I feel like you guys are the Solve for X factory, right? Like everybody's giving talks at Solve for X, and you guys are like, oh, we're solving.
Yeah,
we're solving.
We're doers.
We're doers.
That's
Well,
amazing.
I am hoping to come and visit you guys in Austin during South by Southwest. So hopefully we'll have some more video of the cool stuff that you're doing.
I am hoping to get you on the second version of the board.
I'm totally
and
doing
have
that.
You go further than 11 seconds or a few feet, because we were limited. We were limited by your producers and all.
They're not going to be there.
I know. That's my thought. I'm already all over that.
I know. I'm bringing my knee pads. We're doing this.
We'll bring some elbow pads too. Now here's the only problem.
You really,
but we're gonna try to have this fixed by South by. Is with the headset, you can't wear an EEG on your head and a helmet. Oh. So your producers thought it was dangerous. Now it's more dangerous.
We'll just be really careful.
Of course. Well, we have a prototype helmet Phil is working on where we've taken one apart and we're trying to actually put it into the helmet. And so if we have that done or close enough to done, we'll let you try that one when you're here.
Awesome, guys. Well, we just want to say just really exciting to talk to you and see all the amazing things you're working on. And we will definitely take you up on your offer for you guys to come back whenever you have new news and all the cool projects that you guys are working on. So there's Phil Wheat, Whurley. Thanks you guys for coming out. Chaotic Moon.
Yes.
Boom.
And just so you know, one quick note. We are doing a project a month. So we did 2 boards. We did one in January, we did one in February, and the cart in February. So we'll have one every month if you want to find out about them.
All right.
Damn. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. The site is chaoticmoon.com. They are Chaotic Moon Studios, and we'll be talking. We'll be talking more.
Thanks,
all right.
guys.
And we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, of course, we have all the tech news of the week. Google's privacy factor policies go into effect. iPad 3 rumors, we have to. And Windows 8, plus the best phone coming out of Barcelona. We'll be right back.
Hands down?
Probably. Welcome back to Buzz Out Loud, everyone. We have recovered from our interview with the Chaotic Moon guys. And
love those guys.
We're gonna move on to it's really hard not to root for those guys,
Yeah.
They're easy to root for. All right, let's move on though to the news. The big news as of actually today is that Google's new privacy policies have gone into effect. The ones that keep them, or the ones that allow them to collect and sort of monitor your web search history, to share your information between all of their different properties.
To give you a better experience, Molly.
To give you a better experience.
A better full range experience.
Which I actually think if executed properly, some of it could give you a better experience. Although I'm not going to lie, I went and erased my web history today.
So this is interesting though, Molly, because earlier I remember when we talked about it, you said you're okay with this, but you still went to delete your web history, at least for your searches.
Yeah, I mean, I am okay with Google sharing the data that they already have about me between the sites. Like I use all of them for a reason. I want them to be better integrated. I think that's fine. I think web history is a remarkably personal thing. Especially, I mean, go look. They've made it pretty easy. They have google.com/history. You can go and look at your past history. You can kind of like edit and manipulate it, or you can just erase the whole thing. And I'm not gonna lie, like I Google 50% of the thoughts that pop into my head at any given moment, and because you got the phone and you're just like,
totally.
Oh, I don't know, what is it? And it's dirty things that Brian says that I don't understand.
I did not get scolded during the break, by the way, friends.
He didn't know.
We were wondering about that in the
hilarious.
chat room. All right.
But seriously, he says words sometimes that I don't know.
I do,
like,
yeah,
I have
sometimes.
I have to Urban Dictionary that. It's it's science stuff. It's I don't know, whatever. And when you look at it all in aggregate, or it might be health stuff. Like I have a weird bump right here, and I'm going to Google that. I don't, I do not. Web history, I think is the part for me that everybody needs to pay attention to.
Yeah. So there are a few ways, right? People have been writing and talking about what are some of the ways that you guys can do if you want to try to avoid being a part of this, because there's going to be 2 camps. One that is totally all for it. Maybe actually 3 camps. One that's kind of in between. Let's get rid of the web history. Or if you really want to try to avoid Google's new privacy policy, not be tracked in any way, shape, or form. Well, guess what? Number 1 might be don't log into Google. Right? Don't log into their services. If you really don't want to be a part of this, you always have the choice either to log in or just not even use the service anymore. One of the things people are suggesting is there are ways to acquire all the data that Google has and export it so that you can take it to another service if that's something that you really aggressively want to do. You can use another search engine.
You can use another search engine, which I find hilarious.
Bing. I know, right?
You can turn it off. There are some you can temporarily pause your Google web history if you find. Glacier Audio made a good point in the chat room just now, which is it's kind of brilliant marketing, because once I went and looked at my web history, my search history, even though I deleted it, I still was like, oh, this is kind of useful, because if I forgot the results of whatever it was I searched, it might be kind of. But so you can pause it at at certain times. So if you know you're going to be, like, if I know I'm going to be researching something Tong said, I could just make sure that doesn't even get into my history.
Put on the privacy. Is it a time range you can set?
You can
I'm
just
not familiar
pause
with
it. You go into google.com/history. You can basically hit like pause.
Got it.
And then you can turn it back on whenever you want.
Got it.
I mean, it might be kind of annoying, but
it's the way, it's the way we
possibility.
have to deal with some of these things.
Yeah, you know what I find annoying actually is that incognito mode. I think that Google could go a long way toward making people feel better if their incognito windows did not log your web search.
And you would think that would make sense, right?
That would make sense. I was shocked.
Not
to
only does
discover
it
that
not save all the passwords and all the activity, but don't save your web. That's why by default I would hope or think that incognito would do that, but it actually doesn't.
Yeah. What the what? All it does is keep you from being tracked, basically, but it doesn't. Yeah.
So
it's kind of
can we
annoying.
make something real clear that this is only for people who have Gmail accounts, right? Because I went and tried to turn off all my history, and there was nothing there because I don't have Gmail.
Well, do you have a YouTube account?
I do have a YouTube account, but it didn't see that either.
Yeah, right now it's collecting web history from Gmail accounts.
Okay.
So yeah, if you don't have a Gmail account, which wow,
Yeah, my
really, you really don't?
my only Google accounts I have are
Fascinating.
work, CBS Interactive, and the studio I work at. So there's no history at all.
What
I
email
went
are
on
you
there.
using?
Hotmail. Oh
No!
yeah. Hell yeah.
Wow!
Whoa!
Whoa!
I'm old school, dude. Like
Crazy
90s.
news is coming out.
It's almost crazy as another story we have way later in the show, but that's crazy.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a SkyDrive there now too.
Yeah,
SkyDrive button.
that is nice.
That
That
is
is
pretty
nice.
cool, actually.
Yeah.
Abine, there's a startup called Abine, which is actually really funny because I just yesterday interviewed a lawyer from Abine for a story that I wrote about online privacy, which you can find at Molly Rants.
Hey.
But they're a startup that does privacy tools. They have a sort of as close as they can get to one-stop opt-out for data brokers that do all the crazy, scary collection about you, which is what the column's about. But they have a tool called Protected Search. Right now, it only works on Firefox, which is a bummer because Firefox becomes less usable every single day. But they say they're working on other versions for other browsers so that when you're using that extension, basically, it funnels you through kind of a middleman so that Google can't tie the data back to you.
So the middleman kind of hides your search, what you're actually searching for, requests it, but it kind of stops that gap, the direct relationship in between.
Yeah.
And then hides it in the middle. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. I
So
think that's good.
The market will provide. Also, I mean, I do think that there are some positive things that can come out of this. Nevertheless, in other parts of the world, there are countries with much stricter privacy laws than ours, and we could take note. One of them is Japan. Japanese authorities have written to Google saying that it's possible that this new technique, their new policies, could violate Japanese data protection laws.
Yeah, this kind of falls along the heels of South Korea, who was recently investigating the possibility that the search giant was also violating their own laws there. So the EU is also, still looking at the issue of Google merging all these platforms together. And so across the world, it seems like people are more worried about this
Oh, yeah.
than in the US. The actual governments are more worried about
That's 'cause
this.
Google is here creating jobs and standing on Capitol Hill lobbying them constantly to make sure that actual, privacy protections are not enacted, which is also what the column is about. It really just comes down to how much can you trust Google, and
Yeah.
how much do you want to?
Yeah.
And if the services get better, that's great. But web search, I think in particular, especially when you find yourself searching for things about health, all of that, if it ever is made public or if it can be scraped by data brokers, you don't need that to be affecting whether you can get insurance in the future. I think web search history is something to be very careful with.
All right. Also, you guys should be careful about what you hope for, what you expect for, what you might see on March the 7th. It's official. Apple sent out their invite. I know everyone is like, I know
Like,
this
we're over
already.
it.
Apple sent out their invites for the March 7th iPad event. That will be a Wednesday of next week. What I love about this most specifically is when people start parsing the actual, image invitations.
It's adorable.
It gets a little
It's my
crazy.
favorite.
So we're showing you, at least on the video stream, of the icon or of the picture of the calendar. It says March 7th. People immediately said, "Oh my gosh, that looks like twice the resolution of the previous calendar app."
I know. And wasn't it Gawker? They were like, "This is the Retina display hiding in plain sight."
Then it's like, where
Dun, dun, dun.
where is the home button? You guys, look. There's no home button in that picture.
That is actually pretty notable.
It is semi-notable, but at the same time, people could argue it could be just turned sideways.
Yep.
Which is So I'm just saying, we're playing around. It could be either way. We don't really know. There's rumblings that maybe they were going to get rid of the home button like 6 months ago, but no one followed up on it. Now all of a sudden, this picture's like, there is no home button.
The parsing is just a blast, mainly because and then the and touch thing, does it suggest some sort of new technology? I said on Twitter that my money was on a touch screen like iMac or MacBook Air,
a little early,
another
but,
product, which is a little early, and and nobody on Twitter ever wants to have any fun at all. So people were like, "You're stupid."
Well, this is all I can tell you based on what I can say, and it sounds really stupid for me to say this, but a very direct contact says there will be another product announced at the event that is not an iPad.
Not an iPad.
That is hardware, software. That is not an iPad. That from Apple that no one has seen before.
Dude,
that's all I can tell you.
If I'm right, all you Twitter haters are gonna have a nice big drink of Crow.
But we're not, because it's such an ambiguous statement. But he's obviously told me more. But I'm not gonna get my friend fired.
iPhone 5.
That we're not gonna like Twitter it or broadcast. But it's just something to think about. That there will be another product announced that we haven't seen from Apple.
Ooh. Plus, in the actual iPad 3 rumors, of course, there are reports that it will have a Retina display, that it may have a redesigned bezel, and that there might be three different devices, 3 different models. One of which could be on Tech Meme today. Of course, there's reports that there will be like a 7-inch version. Whether or not it's going to have LTE, and then some rumors coming out of China that it could be $70 to $80 more expensive. Which is possible if it has a Retina display. I can understand. They were speculating that maybe they would keep the iPad 2 in circulation, not stop making it, and then make the iPad 3 the really premium model, which is possible.
Here's what you guys can expect, all right? It's a week before the keynote. We are going to hear everything known to man of any rumor possible. Its camera is going to be 42 megapixels. Eat your heart out, Nokia. All right? It's going to be ridiculous. But you know what? We're going to ride with it.
Yeah, we'll see.
There was another, they're talking about rumors of not only with those 3 different models, right? The iPad 2 would have 8 gigs, so it'd be a lower entry model, right?
Right.
Lower capacity, lower price. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not going to pretend like we know.
All we can tell you is that we will be there. Our CNET staff will be there, and then we will be doing live Buzz Out Loud coverage because like it or not, the world shuts down. You guys, I had to change my flight to Austin. I was supposed to be on a plane at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and everybody was just like, "Oh, hell to the no."
You're not going.
I'm not going. I'm going way later that day. Yeah. Way later.
Yeah.
So we will be doing live Buzz Out Loud coverage of, from our live stream, which is, as you know, a lot more fun than just watching a live blog. So we hope you'll join us for that.
Yeah. For those asking what time does our coverage start at, typically the keynote starts at 10.
Right.
So we'll probably be on around 9:30ish, 9:45ish. Yeah. So just come and hang out with us then. Mm-hmm. It'll be an extra bonus episode.
We look forward to seeing you. See, don't you feel better now about the iPad 3 rumors? You were all bored and over it, but now you get an extra show.
Good for you.
Cool story about a throttled iPhone user who took AT&T to court, said, this is not okay, how you're throttling my data speeds, and won $850.
Ooh,
Still, death by 1,000 tiny cuts.
Yeah, he made the claim that AT&T purposely slowed down his data speeds, despite the fact he was subscribed to an unlimited data plan, and everyone has been talking about this. Mm-hmm. He took it to court. The payout represents 10 months of data on the carrier for the remaining portion of his contract. I've got to wonder if people are going to start trying to follow his lead.
I think they probably will, yeah, and I think that they should. I mean, the way that AT&T's been manipulating its data, the way that all these carriers are essentially lying, let's be honest, about unlimited data, it's reprehensible, it's arbitrary, it's ridiculous, and it comes on the heels of AT&T saying, floating the idea in Barcelona, hey, maybe we should charge mobile app developers for the data that their customers are going to use.
That's
ridiculous. They could prepay for their customers' data as the customers try to get around the arbitrary and way too low data caps that we're putting in place as we refuse to invest in our own freaking infrastructure.
It's funny because it seems like AT&T is the company that always says those type of ludicrous things, right?
Yeah.
We need more spectrum. They're not dealing with it the right way already. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's start charging the mobile app developers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. We'll just charge them on one end for the no, I mean, it's
a joke.
Let's find an innovative new business model to continue to make money from the fact that we are, I mean, they're throttling service for everyone to some extent. If they put in a 2 gig or a 4 gig cap, that's everybody is starting to realize that that is not enough for the media needs of the population.
They're just looking for more revenue because people aren't text messaging as much and using the free messaging service. They're like, we need some more money.
Right.
Those $15-$20, we need to make it up somehow. Somehow, some way.
Oh, it's outrageous. Anyway, he was originally seeking $10,000, won $850, and I suspect it won't be the last.
Yeah.
Of those small claims courts filings. Windows 8 consumer preview also came out this week.
Finally, this is great.
Windows 8 consumer preview. It is actually. It's very. There's been so much speculation about it. They were talking about it so much at CES. Nobody really knew what it was going to look like or what it was going to do. And they debuted it in Barcelona, which was kind of interesting at Mobile World Congress.
Yeah, really, we're showing off a kind of a video, but really the launch screen, the start screen, so to speak, is very more the Metro interface. All the demos that they've been showing really feature the touch aspect a lot more than the mouse and click aspect, which it is compatible with, which it does allow you to work in a desktop environment. But a lot of the demos that they're really touting is the fact that this is a touch device. This is a touch OS.
Right.
It's everything, but they feature more on the touch side.
That is very interesting because it doesn't. I mean, the desktop experience, I guess they're assuming like, sure, people will get it on the desktop because they're Windows users and they're going to upgrade. One thing that you should note, though, is that Windows 8 on Intel is very unlike Windows 8 on ARM. So as you're tablet shopping, you may find some interesting problems, which is, for example, if you were hoping to run Windows 7 apps and older on your new Windows 8 tablet, you have to have an Intel-based tablet and a PC. The architecture is not the same for the ARM processor. So if you have an ARM tablet, you're only going to be able to run those Windows 8 Metro apps.
And it's interesting because when they were making the announcement, they were really trying to tout that this works exactly the same on both platforms, right? It's using the same code. It's going to look great and flow great, but there's still going to be, for products that you use from the past, you won't be able to necessarily use them the right way.
Yeah.
The Windows 8 consumer preview, for those of you who want to play with it, because I think it's definitely worth
you gotta look at it.
You have to check it out. You can download it. It's available to download, so you guys can get your hands on it and see if you enjoy the Windows 8 experience. It just feels so much more tablet based, and they really just haven't shown kind of, I guess you could say, the Windows 7 desktop look. But I do love the Metro interface.
The Metro interface is beautiful. I think that there's I wrote a column recently about this, and I think that there's some problems with the implementation, mainly because like the Metro apps won't run on the desktop. There's that ARM versus Intel problem. That's it. And then I am hoping Microsoft has alluded to, or there have been rumors that they're going to have a write once, run anywhere interface for Metro. Because right now, if you write a Metro app for a tablet, it won't necessarily run on a phone, and it won't necessarily run on Xbox, even though they all kind of look the same. So I think as they move the Metro concept from just aesthetics to really an engineering platform, that it has a ton of potential to be a total ecosystem killer. Which is, right now, Mountain Lion, right? Like we're expecting the Mountain Lion is going to be it's the OS that will tie the whole ecosystem together with the Mac. Windows 8 can definitely be that.
Yeah.
They just have some engineering stuff they've got to get done.
And one of the cool things that I do like about Windows 8 when you talk about the ecosystem and tying it together is the fact that when you have an account with Microsoft, you can literally log on to any Windows 8 based machine in your settings and preferences, and they'll all be loaded there, and you'll still have access to SkyDrive. So it really is leveraging the cloud aspect of their SkyDrive, integrated with their services, being able to use it on any Windows 8 based machine.
Yep.
So that's pretty slick. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. We have a really good, by the way, debate. Like, obviously, these operating systems are far from final right now, but Jason Parker and Seth Rosenblatt did sort of a little counterpoint already about Windows 8 versus OS 10 Mountain Lion. And they go through some of these features. Which one has a more compelling ecosystem? How will the hardware impact the usage? Which one's easier to adopt? Cloud integration, stuff like that. It's a good read. Yeah, it really is.
The message is that, yes, it is very early to make a decision, but it's worth talking about for sure, where they stand right now.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we'll check it out. I think we're going to have some videos up soon about how to install the consumer preview too. So we'll give you a little way to look at it.
Excellent.
All right, should we keep things moving along here with our quick hits?
Yeah, let's hit that quick. Are you laughing?
I'm laughing.
Are you giggling?
Hit that quick.
And I got in trouble for other jokes, right? That's me.
You only get in trouble if they don't make me laugh.
That's me.
You only get in trouble if they don't make me laugh.
Oh, goodness. Well, this is not something to laugh about, Molly.
No, you're right. You're right.
Let's get serious. HP cuts 270 employees from their Web OS division.
That's terrible.
Okay, now, first of all, this is according to The Verge, we were all surprised that there were actually 270 employees still part of the Web OS division. I was surprised by that.
I was surprised. That seems like a lot of people.
I didn't expect that the division was still so large, but it does signal, I don't know how large they are overall, if it really was, a 50% cut or not, but that doesn't bode well for any future for WebOS is just being supported by HP in any way, shape, or form. Are they going to release it to the public?
Well, I think this is them saying we're gonna open source it, and so we don't need our own people working on it.
I hope
and
so.
that does make some sense, even though it's brutal. Luckily, there was a corresponding story recently in like the Chronicle, I think, about how tech firms in San Francisco are absolutely desperate for employees. So hopefully, all these HP guys will have somewhere to go.
WebOS is just a sad story to me.
It's a sad story.
I don't know if they're ever going to be able to turn it around to even like a push, like, okay, even remotely, like, hey, let's just get back to like acceptability.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to see.
You got to feel like it's done. Like this, that the plan to open source it is basically a way to kill it without killing it.
Yeah. Pour some out.
Yeah, that hurts. The Wall Street Journal posted a whole long hit piece on Google Plus. The mounting minuses at Google Plus. They called it a ghost town, and they pointed out that according to ComScore, at least, people are spending more time overall, even though there aren't as many users necessarily. Users spend more time on MySpace than they spend on Google Plus.
What? Hey, Sexy Back is coming back. MySpace has more user interaction than Google Plus. Justin Timberlake was right.
He was right.
That's crazy.
According to ComScore numbers,
I want to hear your wow.
Users spent an average of 3 minutes on Google Plus in the entire month of January, and MySpace users surfed for 8 minutes.
That is just pathetic for both sides.
That's
in a month?
In a month.
All right, wait.
Well, not total. Like the users who were using MySpace surfed for a total of 8 minutes, which is actually, that's kind of a long time in terms of user engagement.
Over the month?
There was a story recently that
let's divide that by 30 days.
No. The average time that each user spent on MySpace during the month of January was 8 minutes.
Okay. In one city.
Not like a user spent a total of 8 minutes.
We did a story
that's
recently.
Right. That's what the way I read
just
it.
Like, what?
I'm like, no way.
No.
We did a story recently where like they were saying that 1 million new users came to MySpace, right? And that has a lot to do with their new music player or something that Justin Timberlake pimped out.
I mean, I think these numbers are a little, I don't know. I think the numbers are a little odd. ComScore doesn't count mobile numbers. Like it's not, I'm not sure that I think you should take this all with a grain of salt. Daniel Turnerman definitely wrote a little bit of a rebuttal about this. Nevertheless, though, they talked to people at Zynga who said Google Plus is a nice platform, but it's been slow on the uptick with users. Possibly because users do different kinds of things on Google Plus. Yep. It's hard to say. I mean, I have definitely seen that there's an insane fire hose of traffic on Google Plus. Like the number of followers that I have on Google Plus is hilariously huge, right? But they're not engaged. And most of the engagement that I see on Google Plus is people commenting like, hi, what are you doing? You look pretty. Like it's not, I don't know. It just feels like, you have a page on the open internet and then the open internet's just like, beep, boop, 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 boop.
Well, I think the other statement that they probably forgot to mention in Zynga's comments were that no one is playing our copied games on Google Plus.
Right, exactly. They're not,
People aren't using it the same way because that Cityville game we got, not working.
I really don't. I think people who are using Google Plus are using it on the go. I think they're activating it on their Android device, not on the web. And so that doesn't show up in ComScore results. I think like it's just not, I think that the way that they're measuring it is a little bit, it's maybe not as appropriate. Mm-hmm. And people are not using Google Plus the exact same way that they're using Facebook. So if the expectation is they'll do all the identical things and they'll just play Zynga games, then sure it might. But I'm not sure it's an apples to apples comparison. I think people are still figuring out their Google Plus usage. I'm not necessarily defending it or saying that it's taking off, but I think that this story was a little bit distorted.
I'm figuring out my Google Plus usage by not really using it at all. Because to be honest, like when you talk about the duplicating your efforts on both networks, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. I don't think I'm in the minority either. I think repeating the same things on two networks is just too much trouble for the most part. Like, we interact with Twitter differently than we do on Facebook, and most people do Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
But we don't, or let's say maybe Twitter and Google Plus, but Google Plus and Facebook are still similar-ish enough where we're trying to figure out what we really are going to use Google Plus for, that it's kind of like getting pushed to the side right now.
Yeah, I think it is, but I also think there still is an evolution to follow. Like, what I'm using Google Plus now is as a one-to-one replacement for the Facebook fan page, because there isn't as much engagement there.
How many people have fan pages, Molly? I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I agree. But I mean, I think, yeah, it may be that, but I'm talking about the evolution of Google Plus, and it may be that Google Plus evolves to be really useful for brands in a way that, like Facebook yesterday, they had this big marketing event. They rolled out timeline for pages. They're saying we want, brands are going to be able to have these beautiful immersive experiences. That we're really going to give them a way to advertise and like buy into the newsfeed. But it might turn out that Google Plus is a better place for brands to be, a better place for a public figure to be, because you get way more engagement. I mean, I still do get a ton of comments on whatever I post on Google Plus, and you're immediately like, the big secret to me about Google Plus is that it's a main line, it is a hard line into Google search results. So if you've been worried about SEO, everything that you post on Google, you can watch it. You post something on Google Plus, 20 seconds later, you've got a Google News alert about your name or about your business. And I think that will probably prove really useful in the long run, that Google Plus is maybe a better outlet for, like I said, companies and public figures than Facebook.
Yeah, I could see that on the flip side. I would have imagined that you would start seeing some sort of traction from brands already by now. They haven't done anything major per se. They've allowed those brands to come on board, but we still haven't seen people really use it as the brand destination, and maybe that's down the road.
Yeah.
But also, I think the fact that it could be able to search it, that benefits Google more than it benefits us, right?
I don't know.
The whole Google Plus network, being able to search it and being able to, use that data for, I don't know how that.
Well, everybody's desperate for SEO. So if you want your post to get attention and you want to make sure that it's immediately indexed by Google, I'm not saying they're doing anything fishy by like hiding the Facebook stuff, but I don't think I've ever seen anything that I posted on my Facebook fan page show up in Google.
yeah, that's for sure.
Like if I post a link to a column on Google Plus, it is instantly indexed.
Yeah.
And then thereby, I would assume, way more searchable. To me, that's businesses should start paying attention to
That's
that.
why I curate all the podcast shows on my Google Plus page, because I know it's just going to be searchable. People are going to find it later in the future, So
In the future.
The future.
We'll see what the future holds.
I should probably I should have just blogged everything that I said, actually, as a
Well, we
rebuttal
can
to
record
that.
this.
It's not too late.
No, yeah, we can record. You can look at the recording and then just, transcribe it and say, this is why Brian's song is wrong, blah, 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 blah. This is why I'm right, blah, blah, blah,
I don't
blah,
think
blah.
you're wrong.
Oh, no, I don't think either of us are wrong.
No.
Because you know why?
Everybody
There
wins
is
on
no
our
resolution.
show.
Yeah. When we talk about the future and technology, you don't know until it happens.
Yeah, we don't know.
Like,
Flipped internet. It has infinite possibilities.
exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. You know what's also
Love it.
amazing about the internet? Pinterest, seen a lot of traction with the ladies. But, Steven, you found this, right?
Yeah.
And you want to talk about this, my man?
Yeah, so Gawker did a story yesterday about how Pinterest is for men, or Pinterest is not for men. Men hate Pinterest, don't like to use it.
That's bull hockey, by the way.
I agree. But so they found this site called Manteresting, and
goodness.
it's very interesting. It's a Pinterest for men, and you can pin all your guy stuff that you like.
Come
See, we got-
on. That's just Pinterest.
Yeah, but it's Manteresting.
Interesting. That's
So
hilarious.
it's just a bunch of guy stuff.
So is this just a blog that people post to, or is this, you don't create a profile, this is just a website that they're mocking Pinterest
It's just a
with, right?
spoof, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe it's a spoof, but there is a place you can log in and sign up and get involved in it.
I'm just gonna, you know what?
Oh my God, they have gentlemint.com too, which is a wholesale, described accurately by Gawker as a wholesale ripoff of Pinterest. Why can't you use Pinterest? Like, wait,
Because it's
the
for
same-
girls.
It's not for girls.
It's totally one of those
It's
things.
only for girls if you think it's for girls.
But I mean, everyone thinks it's for girls. I mean, it's the whole thing. It's for everyone. It's like, how about this? The
It is for
Volkswagen
everyone.
Bug is for everyone. No, it's not. Because that little flower holder kind of gave it a feel like, hey, it might be more female geared of a car. But it is for everyone.
That's for
I'm still
girls.
not going to get a Volkswagen Bug.
See, my problem is that now I'm on Gentlemint, And I am interested in everything on it
See,
because I'm such a dude. This is why I want men to just man up men, and get on Pinterest. Because you know what? I am interested in your stuff, and if your stuff is cool, I will think that you are hot. So hot.
Have you seen the 2 devices that I've pinned on Pinterest?
I don't know. I'll have to check it out.
Okay. One was a mouse. It was kind of hot.
I like the little Mickey Mouse record player right there on Gentlemint.
This is...
See, come on. Man up, men.
Oh,
get
come
on
on
Pinterest.
No, man up, men. Don't get on Pinterest.
Get on Manteresting.
Seriously.
Don't get on Pinterest.
We're gonna do Don't get on Pinterest if you're a man. Don't get on Pinterest. Don't do that.
I'm gonna start stalking Gentlemen though.
All right, guys. You know what? We also love our gadgets. There's been some amazing gadgets this week. We have a couple that we want to show you.
Oh yes.
I know everyone listening had to listen to our little Inspector Gadget, and we're just like, all right, check this out, everyone. You can't escape it. The Lytro, right? It's in the house. I put up a link that people can see some of my cool Lytro pictures.
Yeah.
But we've talked to the crew, the CEO Renning, who came here long before the Lytro even had a form factor, before they were getting major publicity. That's how we toot our horn. That BOL is the place to go for really cool first interviews, like with Chaotic Moon.
That's how we roll.
We're just saying. We
you don't want to miss Buzz Out Loud because we are on the cutting edge.
And we're going to stop talking about it, so we'll still be on the cutting edge. Cutting edge is talking about yourself is not cutting edge. Anyways, if you guys aren't familiar with it, the Lytro, the light field camera, takes pictures not at the highest resolution, but still just the amazing creativity of living pictures. People are like flipping out about this stuff. You can click on a point, like you can click on my nice little face back there. There you go. Look at that.
Woo!
Isn't that cool? Now, if you scroll over,
guy in the background
if you scroll to one picture, to the picture with the spikes.
Okay, how do I do that?
There you go.
Oh.
So check this out. This one of the cool features that they showed off now with the Lytro is this new ability to what they call creative mode, but it allows you to take macro shots, and so that you'll really be able. People that are like artists that love textures of things. I did the macro shot of this as like a leg of an action figure, but you can click on each of the individual spikes or parts of the image. It's bonkers. I really think, people are criticizing this. Yeah, it's not a mainstream camera. Yeah, this is the first demo of the technology. It's going to get better and better down the road. But, man, for foodies, I took a picture of a grapefruit, right? And you could click on the different texture of the meat of the grapefruit. But it was amazing.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
It looked so crazy.
My food pictures are going to be forever changed
So,
as soon as the Wi-Fi comes.
Let's see the grapefruit here.
Oh, yeah. Just a quick thing. If you guys didn't know about Lytro, the FCC tore this thing apart, and there's a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip inside of this. I talked to the Lytro people. Of course, they smiled and said the only thing we can confirm is that there's a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chip in here. But they're not going to promise any features they can't deliver on yet, but it's good to know that this, I'm not going to say it's future-proof, but it has a future for more features and capabilities, and it's fun. I'm fun.
Excited.
It's really exciting. We've never seen anything like this. This is what technology is all about.
It is.
I can't say that anymore.
Like the idea of a revolution in digital imaging is so exciting because not only can we have these cool little cameras ourselves, which is really not the overall point. Like I can't wait until these start making their way into film cameras. I mean, think about what's going to happen to your DVDs and your extras when you've got infinitely manipulatable video on the web or on a physical device. Like
that's a nice. You were able to enunciate that very well.
Oh, thank you.
Infinitely manipulatable.
Infinitely manipulatable.
That's cool. Also, just some cool things, right? This light field camera already by default, because the technology takes pictures in 3D. That's a feature they're going to roll out. And then they did this other demo for me that we couldn't show called perspective shift. And basically, with the picture you take, you hold down the mouse button, and let's say you move the mouse in a circle, you get about a 5 to 10 degree angle on the items. I mean, and you don't need 3D glasses, all right? This is moving a picture and seeing it from different angles. It was bonkers.
It's pretty awesome.
Quick thing in the chat room, picture file size, an individual picture to download to your computer. It's going to take about 16 megs per file. It's its own proprietary file. When you export and upload it to Lytro servers, so then you can share it on Twitter and Facebook, those files are anywhere from 500K to 1 meg, so not very small, not very large. And they're going to, at this moment, they said they're unlimited. They're going to host them unlimited amount right now. And I asked them, is that going to change the future? They said, we'll see how the behavior is. But for the most part, every photo you load right now, you won't be capped or anything like that. So,
and that's one thing to note is that when you upload the photos, they live on Lytro servers because Lytro serves them up then in their essentially proprietary player.
Yeah,
so that you
it's a
can
Flash
manipulate
player. Yeah,
them.
Flash player, HTML5 player.
And then you can, yeah, that's true. It's not proprietary at all. But then you can export them to things like Facebook so that you can actually share a manipulatable file. So if you post it on Facebook, people can still, in the Flash player, just be like, do, 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 do.
And that's
awesome.
the craziest thing. Like all my friends who weren't even familiar with this, they're like, how did you do that picture? Right. That's the OMG.
OMG. Yeah, it's I'm excited. So anybody who pre-ordered these, they're supposedly starting to ship. I have not gotten my notification yet. In fact, I'm going to go check right now.
I'm going to go check
if
on
it's
that.
coming. But they should be arriving, I think, soon, within the next few days for people who pre-ordered them.
They said in the U.S. Friday, people start receiving their first units, and it'll trickle out. I think internationally it's going to be a little different, but initially they're pumping these guys out. So this is our CNET one. I purchased my own just to let you know. I'm not just.
I got the blue one.
I got the blue one too.
You did?
Yeah, because $4.99 is a little too.
$4.99 is pretty high. $3.99 I can handle, but $4.99 was like, whew.
Yeah.
All right, but this is not the only gadget this week. Actually, Mobile World Congress has already delivered some interesting devices: the HTC One X and the Nokia PureView 41 megapixel phone. But then now the phone that has everybody going gaga today, the Pad phone, the Asus Pad phone.
This is bonkers.
Anyway, the Asus are the people behind the Transformer Prime, which, as you know, was like the tablet that could easily become a laptop. This Asus Pad phone kind of takes the idea of the Motorola Atrix 4G, which could dock into a little laptop station, one step further, because this can dock into an actual little tablet and then power a 10-inch tablet and also a laptop dock.
This is the ultimate transformer. All right.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
It's the do everything phone.
What's crazy also is when you dock the phone into the tablet, it uses the camera on the phone as the camera for the tablet. I thought that was just kind of like, oh, that's cool.
It's so clever. And then you can use the tablet or the laptop to make calls using the integrated speakerphone or the Bluetooth headset. You don't want to hold up the tablet to your face because that looks pretty funny. But yeah, this is pretty slick and it's innovative. I think it's a really clever way to address the fact that everybody's kind of using their phone in some cases as their only device these days.
Yeah.
Here's a cool video of it so you can see it.
It's like really hard to understand. Exactly. The pictures are not.
And unfortunately, they didn't show it dock inside this thing. So right now,
gets to it in a little
bit. At the end?
So
okay. It just looks like a laptop now.
That's the tablet there that's docked on top of the keyboard. And in the back of the tablet, you can shove the phone into it. So it's pretty cool.
I'm sure that these accessories won't
Shove
be
it in.
cheap, by the way, but yeah, you want to carefully set that in there, I think is actually more accurate.
Let me see if I can get to that part. It's pretty interesting.
Pending shipment.
Okay, see? Now she's going to dock it in there.
For listeners, we're showing the demo of where a hinge kind of opens up that fits the phone,
and then,
you pop it in, and then you go to the tablet, and you dock it to the laptop. Pretty cool stuff.
Love it.
All right, Steven, this is your time to shine, my man.
Yeah,
right?
let's do it.
Yep, moving on.
Hey! Okay, cool. So this is my video pick of the week, or the month, as we can call it. This one comes to us from the University of Pennsylvania General Robotics Automation Sensing and Perception Lab, otherwise known as GRASP, which is a good name. They put out all these great videos of quadcopter robots doing specific tasks that they program them to do. I can't say the specific tasks. That's a hard thing to say.
Try saying infinitely, whatever you said. What was the word?
Infinitely manipulatable specific tasks.
Yeah. So, so this is
I did that with Invisalign. Too.
That's pretty good. That is impressive. It might have helped you actually.
Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So this is more proof of how we are going to be killed in the future by robots from the sky, death from above. These guys made a video. Basically, what they did was they programmed these quadcopter robots to perform. They programmed 10 of them to perform in tandem a song 007. So check this out. It's really interesting. Watch this. We can listen to them.
Whoa! I have not seen this.
It looks like bees, right? They look kind of like bees.
I've seen this and I hate it.
You hate it?
I like the guy on the
Because
symbol.
they're so scary. I mean, they're
It
cool,
is scary,
but
right?
Oh no, what is that thing on the left side?
they're so cute. They're like the most adorable little jazz band in the world.
Oh.
Oh my god, they're adorbs.
So these guys look like about the size of what, maybe half a soda can? Right? Quadcopters?
Yep.
Yeah. They're really small. Further proof that they're going to be programmed to kill us all in the, in the future.
All right,
if
listeners.
If they can perform 007 together as a team, then imagine what else they can do.
You guys
for people listening, you guys are going to have to check this out. But literally, the individual quadcopters are either hitting a key on a keyboard, running like a metal thing against like notes, like a long extended harp per se, or like on a cymbal or a drum.
The cymbal guy.
It's crazy.
Glacier says.
It's crazy.
Here's the end.
With the big finale.
Watch this.
Oh my god!
It's strummed to the guitar.
That's amazing.
It's strummed to the Fender.
Glacier Audi in the chat room says they're appearing at coffee shops in Portland through April.
I was in Portland this past
awesome.
weekend. I love Portland.
That's amazing.
Portland's
you guys
cool.
got to go watch that.
Love Portland.
All right, so
that'll be in the show notes, so please check it out. I'll put that video in the show notes.
Definitely
Very
do.
cool.
All right, we got to keep moving. We got voicemails galore.
All right.
Our first caller points out that Google doesn't even care about being fair.
Hey, BOL crew. I was just thinking about Microsoft and Google's little fight with the video coding, and I think Google is still going to be asking for the $22 because Microsoft is taking $5 of every Android phone that's sold. So I think what they're really wanting is to get their $5 back, and they'll probably drop the $22 restriction. So, all right, just thought I'd throw that in there. Keep up the good work. Bye.
Okay.
Whoops. What did I do there?
All
yeah.
right. Yeah.
We were talking about
like a
show
powwow
planning.
there.
We were talking
I know,
about
we
show
were having
planning.
a little show powwow there.
'Cause we're-
And also, I just love that concept that they're just like they're like the better off dead kid. I want my $5.
$5, $22. We're gonna break even or what? Let's just do this. Let's just knock this out
Just make it happen.
and forget about all the other companies involved.
For crying out loud.
It's a good point.
All right, and then we have to give this next music service its due because it has so many fans and so many people
a lot
who
of people
believe
wrote in.
that this is our answer to the music service that we really want.
Hey, Brian and Molly. This is Nathan from Portland.
Portland.
You guys were talking about a subscription service for music that gives you pretty much everything you want. It's like a Spotify, but streaming, downloading, purchasing. I know it's not integrated into everything, but Molly, the Windows Phone, if you would have bought a Zoom Pass, which Microsoft will be changing with Windows 8, but they have their Zoom Pass. You can download, stream. You can easily purchase music. You can easily hit their smart DJ playlist. And the software, it gives you, once you like enough music so it knows what your kind of tastes are, it gives you like listeners or like-minded or whatever. You know what I mean. Like people.
Like
You know what I mean? Things that you
Music.
like.
That is like what you like. And see how confusing that is? Anyway, love the show, but everybody always talks about Spotify, Zoom Pass, $9.99 a month, all you can listen to, all you can download.
He goes on for a little longer to tell us again how awesome it is. But everyone always says that about Zune Pass, and I have to say, you know what Microsoft should really do? Make an app. Make an app.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, don't just limit it to the platform. Let Zune Pass be the ambassador for the coolness of the Windows platform by making an app a la Kindle and Amazon. And because if I could subscribe to Zune Pass and then have an app on my iPhone, like that would be great. Microsoft would get my money, and then maybe I would be like, "Oh, this Microsoft thing is really cool." Like how I really like my Kindle, so I'm always going to buy a Kindle Fire.
Well, the trick is with Zune Pass, though, you can also buy music, so they would have to limit the app to just be like a streaming app, which would then limit the fact that their service is more than that. And because if you want to purchase songs, right, you can't do it on iOS. They limit you from that. That's Apple's. They don't let you purchase songs on another app. So you can either go back to a Windows phone or maybe an Android phone, Molly, but not an iPhone phone.
Also, Lily HC points out in the chat room that it's not all you download, that Microsoft discontinued the downloading part.
Discontinued.
And Tim Beck says Microsoft's killing the Zune when Windows 8 comes out. So I guess we'll see.
And I'm taking cool pictures with my
There
Lytro.
could be a streaming app, though, at least. Like, if I just want the subscription part, there could at least be a streaming app.
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's do some email real quick. We have T-Mobile lovers and haters. Jim Savage writes in and says, Last week, you guys were talking about the fourth quarter T-Mobile customer defections, and as a cause, you blamed it on them having no iPhone. Really, BOL? Really? It's not like the first iPhone just came out. Are you saying that T-Mobile customers only learned of the iPhone when Verizon and Sprint picked it up? I know you're becoming more and more iPhone-centric, but the world does not revolve around Apple. Okay, to that first part of the email, I would just point out that iPhone 4S sales would seem to suggest that we're right.
It's
not like they just found out about it, but it's like maybe AT&T didn't have good service in their areas, or they were locked into contracts or whatever. Like, more availability leads to more demand.
Yeah, it's a combination of those things, but you can't deny that the iPhone was part of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think it absolutely was.
Didn't he also write like how he was going to leave
Plus,
T-Mobile?
he also says, that he's a happy customer who's never had any problems with T-Mobile, and he was happy that AT&T didn't buy them, but when his contract ends in March, he'll be leaving. Because there's no future in staying with T-Mobile, because they seem intent on selling the company, and that's an unknown that I don't like thinking about.
Oh, buddy.
He wants to buy the Galaxy Note on Sprint.
I'm really enjoying this right now. Sorry.
I know. I'll just read the next email because you
you're going to appreciate the picture I took of you guys, because you'll be like, look, I have a Lytro picture that you can post on your website. Now you're going to be like, yeah, I'm cool.
No, I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. And then our second email here, EB writes in, first of all, love the show, also about T-Mobile. I've wanted to tell you all not to fret too much about T-Mobile. I've worked for them since it came to being in 2002. In almost every incarnation and change, it has always stayed the best place to work and grow. There are so many people who've worked there since the beginnings, and they're very proud of what we have done. The AT&T debacle hurt us, but we are coming back, and we will be stronger. 2012 is our year. Just wait and see. And for those of you who don't know, T-Mo was the first and for a very long time, the only wireless carrier to have its own unofficial fan site. Now Verizon has one, but it's only about a year old. Say what you want, but we are loved, and we will come back stronger than ever. Loyal to T-Mo.
We will fight!
And BOL.
And this is our Independence Day.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Let's go kill those aliens, Will Smith. All right, guys, I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
That random outburst.
And on that note, that's our show.
And that's our show, guys. We unfortunately weren't able to get to all the emails and calls, but we will do more of those. Continue to send us your emails. Tell us what you think about.
Love them.
We talked about the privacy stuff. We talked about the Lytro stuff. I mean, there's a lot of differing opinions on those two things. So let us know what you guys think. You guys can call us at 888-900 CNET. No, that's our hotline number. That's not our voice.
1-800-616-2638. Email us buzz@cnet.com. Check out our blog. BOL.CNET.com.
Help us, Stephen. You're our only hope. And then please don't forget to join us next week, Wednesday, March 7th. Show will start. Live stream will go up about 9:45 a.m. Pacific time for live coverage of the Apple event. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be in Austin, you do not want to miss our party.
That's right.
Check it out. Right. It's at CNET SXSW2012.eventbrite.com.
I'm not going to go to the party.
Don't tell people that.
No.
I'm sorry.
That was
it's at CNET SXSW2012.eventbrite.com to RSVP. It's a nice big venue. We're going to have Delta Spirit playing live at the party, and then we're ending the show the night with the unbilled but extremely unbelievable Spasmatics, the best 80s cover band you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
Doors open at 9 p.m. And then we'll be doing interviews. Brian and I will be doing basically like newsmaker interviews from South by Southwest. We'll probably record an episode of BOL from the show. From our interview space. We're working out logistics and details of that, but we'll let you know so you guys can come and watch. It's not going to be like a big live stream broadcast thing, but we'll probably do an episode that we
hang
later.
Out with some of the startups and some of the cool new ideas that are out there.
But yeah, like the interviews that we're going to be posting are very cool. We're talking to some really cool startups. We're talking to Dave Morin, the CEO of Path. We'll be asking about their recent problems. We'll be visiting Chaotic Moon. We're interviewing, oh my God, you guys, Nerdgasm, Ray Kurzweil.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes. The
That's
singularity
really cool.
is near.
I hope he brings like a cool chip or something that he pulls out from his skin. All right, guys.
All right, so that's all coming up, but after next week's show.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you
Thanks
later.
for hanging out with us. Great turnout today.
Yeah.
We love y'all. So
good times. All right, see you soon.
Right. See you guys.
Bye.